I would like to invite Dr. Gitika from Novo Nordisk to speak on bleed management with factor VIII.
So thank you, Gitika. It's a pleasure over here. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Dr. Gitika Jha. So I am very fortunate here to be sharing stage with so eminent guests present over here. So I will just briefly discuss about bleed management. As she's correctly said that it's a crisis sometimes and we have to deal with acute bleeding. So I'll just take a few minutes of yours and I'll be just speaking briefly about bleed management with recombinant factor 7. So I'll be speaking under these headings. These will be my contents, and so basically this molecule has been used for past 20 years, and with the passage of time, so the indications has broadened. So now currently it has been used to treat bleeding episodes and to prevent and to treat any invasive procedure, to prevent bleeding from any invasive procedures in patients with congenital hemophilia A or B with inhibitors, acquired hemophilia, congenital factor 7 deficiency, and Glanzmann thrombemia. Additionally, it has been now approved to be used in the treatment of severe postpartum hemorrhage when uterotonics has been failed. So, speaking about mechanism of action, so at pharmacological dose, recombinant activated factor 7, it directly binds with factor 10 at the surface of activated platelets, resulting in the formation of thrombin burst, and which ultimately leads to the formation of hemostatic plug. So how this drug makes a difference in a bleeding episode. So it has got a faster reconstitution, which means you can reconstitute this drug within a span of 2 to 5 minutes, and it has got a 5 ml of IV bolus, which can you can administer it at a very faster rate, and it picks up the onset of action is very fast. It gets activated. The onset of action is between 5 to 10 minutes. And it has got a success rate of almost 90% in treating bleeding episodes in patients. So when we talk about safety, long-term safety of recombinant factor 7, so this has been a data collated for a period of 10 years from January 1996 to 2016. So they overall they have given a dosage of approximately 5.4 millions. That is a huge number, and this has got a very minimal thromboembolic events, which is 0.0004%. So this has been a safer drug throughout the past 20 years. So as we compare the other drugs, bypassing agents there for inhibitor management, which is APCC. So if we speak about APCC, it is a plasma-derived product, and it has got it has got a risk of transmission of unknown and pathogens from the plasma products. Whereas recombinant activated factor 7, it is a product of recombinant technology. So basically, there is no risk of pathogens from this molecule per se. And there is no dose capping as such. Like in case of APCC, you have to manage the dose because there will be a thromboembolic event might happen. And with the usage of this recombinant activated factor 7, so as I already said that it can be reconstituted faster given to the patient in case of acute bleeding, and you can control the bleeding at a very faster rate. And because 5 ml of dose is there, so you can quickly give a IV dose, and you can see the blood field getting clean. So even WFH recommends recombinant factor 7 for the use of hemophilia B patients with inhibitors. And if we talk about amnestic response in case of APCC, though that is almost 30% in case of APCC, because it has got additional factors in it. Whereas there is no or minimal amnestic response in relation to recombinant factor 7. So when we talk about the evidence, so this is a meta-analysis which has been done in patients in which there has been reported 2,000 joint bleeds. So So APCC, as compared to ABCCS 12, 24 and 36 hours, this recombinant factor 7 has been a better drug. So briefly about dosage, so in case of joint and muscle bleed, the dosage is 90 microgram per kg body weight, and it can be repeated every 2 hourly. And additionally, you can give a dose of bolus dose of 270 microgram per kg body weight. And in case of GI bleed, in case of intracranial bleed or manual surgery, the doses remains same. The duration of treatment might get prolonged till 3 weeks, 3 days, or in case of major surgery, this might go to up to 1 week's time. So to summarize quickly, so this is recombinant factor 7 has been a cornerstone of hemophilia treatment, and it has a minimal risk of bloodborne pathogen, and it has got a faster administration and onset of action, and it has been the safer drug for the past 20 years. So thank you so much. Any queries?
Novo made extended half-life factor 8, extended half-life factor 9. I'm not a pharmacologist. Is it possible, and were there any attempts made to it? So the challenge with Novo 7 is 2-hourly dosing. Can't we extend the half-life of recombinant factor 7? I mean, with the PEG or it's already FC fusion. So there are so many technologies. Has that been done in the at the bench side, and are you aware of any of these?
So currently we are working on it, because Novo being an innovative company, we always come with a better drug and with a safer drug. So our perspective is for a safer profile. So this drug being the most safer drug for the past 20 years, so we want a profile, similar profile of a drug with extended half-life with a similar safety profile. So we are working on it, and hopefully will come in future with a drug which has got this profile of safety and a extended half-life. So currently we are working on it. Like this, there's a work going on, but we will come up in coming time.